What if God never needed us to be the stronger version of ourselves? I think a lot of times, for me, that drive for getting it right, which often leans itself towards trying to be perfect, gets so much in the way of everything from happiness to being raw and real and here and connected in my own life. Yesterday, for those of you that were here with me, um, and even for those of you who want to go back and listen to it, I was just really candid with the fact that, yeah, yesterday I felt like a failure. Yesterday felt like a day that needed to be put into the calendar and marked as this is the day that Steve failed. And yeah, unfortunately, I do have a lot of um, things in my life that lead me towards making, giant mountains out of little molehills like that. And it's something I'm working on, something that, I'm getting through. But in the meantime, um, to just come out and be like, hey, this is how I feel without having to have to then be, this is now who I am. And it was a great breakthrough yesterday to be able to say, I do have this feeling. It is real that I feel it, but it doesn't mean that that's reality or who I am. It was a very freeing experience because yesterday on the live, one person came in and said they really felt like they needed it and even prayed for me. That was such a great feeling. And I've had some really good comments from people, just really literally sharing what's going on for them. There are things that are ours to carry for the time that they're ours to carry. That doesn't make it a permanent situation. Learned that one yesterday too. That was a real shocker. It also doesn't mean that just because you carried it today, that it carries into tomorrow, or even because you carried it yesterday, that it's still yours to carry today. I think of the whole concept of the relay race. And I think a lot of my life I've lived more like the guy who, instead of handing off the baton, runs past to the next partner and just keeps going. And if you think about a relay race, you know, the person that runs a whole, we'll just use the 440 or the 400 because they do meters these days, right? The person who runs the whole 400 by themselves, so one lap around the track, that time for that is always faster than when it's, four people that run that because you got that transition stage and they get really, really good at transitioning and the person that's handing it to the other person, you know, but there can be a real slowdown there. The other side to that when it comes to the timing is that one person who, if they ran the whole 400 themselves, their time wouldn't be nearly what the team's time is. They can anchor themselves with, with somebody that, that last leg of it has a real kick and can really take it across. And there's a whole dynamic to that. And I just love the whole concept of looking at the fact that it's like maybe sometimes what I need to do is put the baton in somebody else's hand rather than passing them like a crazy person and just trying to beat the whole other team all by myself. Telling on myself, aren't I? Right? It's a work in process. We're getting there, one step at a time, one day at a time. But I don't think what's called for is you need to be stronger. You should be tougher. If you just man up, have you ever had anybody tell you that? Be a man, get tough, let it, be like water off of a duck's back. And I'm not saying any of those, there aren't times when they're very valuable, but I think a lot of times we hear a phrase that is even possibly a really good motivational phrase, but then it becomes canon in our life. rather than something that allows us to be able to do it. And maybe I'm the only one. Maybe that's just me. So my question for you is, when have you ever felt like you had to become better before you could believe that you were already enough? Do you ever struggle with that too? I look forward to hearing from you. Like I always do, I just want to spend a few minutes with you each day here around the air conditioner because the fire is not on right now. Just together, happy, safe, warm, loved, home. So for a few minutes every day, you can feel like I got a place I can go home. And I appreciate you spending time with me. I hope you have an amazing day. We'll talk soon.